Hello everyone, bringing you a video today looking at a pair of boots, and we're actually moving on to look at some Royal Navy kit in this video. These are Royal Navy working boots or deck boots, often referred to as steaming bats, and they're designed for wear with the number 8 action working dress uniform. Something I've covered in previous videos, and hopefully this will work as something of an adjunct to those, showing the footwear that complemented that uniform. These particular boots are from the era of the Falklands, so around that the design that was used at that time. So again, I thought it was appropriate to look at these during the 40th anniversary, the ongoing 40th anniversary, and hopefully it'll be of interest. Obviously it'll be a relatively short video because we are just looking at these boots, but as I say, hopefully you'll find this interesting. And without further ado, we'll get into the main part of the video and have a look at these in some detail. So as you can see here, this is a relatively simple design of boot. They are a low ankle boot, as you can see here. We have 3 rows of eyelets at the front there. So relatively simple in that regard. Made of smooth leather, as you can see. We have details of the seams and so forth there. Steel toe cap at the front. So they are a safety boot in that regard. You can see details of the stitching here, and quite distinctive area of stitching there just to the front of the uppers. There is one marking here on the uppers. You can see we have a broad arrow, and this is formed from small oblongs depressed into the leather, just at the ankle there. There are also some markings on the sole. We'll just have a look at the other side of the boot here as well. The other one from the pair. There's no specific backstay or pull at the back or anything like that. There's no marking on this side, it's only on the outside that you have that broad arrow. There is, however, marking on the sole. You can actually see, well, one thing I'll mention before we look at that marking is the distinctive tread pattern here, which is these circles and this sort of dimple. Well, I don't know what you describe this as. It's quite a distinctive tread pattern that I've not seen on other boots. If anyone knows of another pair of boots, another design of boots using this tread pattern, I'd be interested to know. This would give you very good grip on board ship, I'm sure, on the painted texture that you get on ship's decks and so forth. And then you have the size there in the middle, number 11. You can just see the remnants of red rubber here, and if we look at the other boot, we still have the additional label that you find on the sole of these, and you can see that this would originally have said conduct. You can just about see conducting there, and then it would have been sole after that. So it's a conducting sole, which means that these do not insulate as a normal rubber sole would do. So you don't build up static electricity. You're earthed essentially by wearing these boots is the idea. So conducting sole, that's a specific part of this design. As I say, they are relatively simple design, but quite effective for what they do. Very good for wear aboard ship. They are a good safety boot from what I can work out. The conducting sole is still, as far as I'm aware today, part of naval working boots. The pair I was issued as an officer cadet at university, which I still use, they're still going, have a conducting sole as well. So I'm assuming that's a piece of the design that's been carried forward to today. I don't have a specific introduction date for these boots. Something similar was worn in the 1960s and turns up in period photographs. You can see that here, the similar design being worn by flight deck personnel in the 1960s. However, this specific design, this with the smooth black leather and this exact design, this pattern of tread on the sole and so forth, I'm not entirely sure when these were first introduced. My instinct is to say 1970s. A lot of the kit used in the Falklands, of course, had been introduced during the 1970s, and photographs and footage from that time period certainly show something similar, but not enough detail to work out if it's this exact pattern. And again, I believe these were used through into the 1990s, but if anyone was serving at around these times who could perhaps recollect when they got these and perhaps when they were replaced, I'd be very interested to know. If you could drop a comment down below, it would be good to get some more sort of concrete dates of exactly when these were introduced and when they went out of service and were replaced with something different. So hopefully you found it interesting looking at these. Much as they are a very plain pair of boots, there's not a huge amount to have a look at. One last thing we will look at here is just a view of the inside. As you can see in there, there's just a plain leather insole in there. There's nothing really special about that at all. It's just what you'd normally expect to find in a pair of military boots from this time. So there we are. I hope you found it interesting looking at these. As I say, these are intended for wear with the number 8 action working dress. Obviously other footwear would generally be worn with other numbers of dress. So they are very much a pair of working boots and designed with that in mind. As I say, I do hope you found looking at these in some detail of interest. If you have and you'd like to see more from the channel, please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. And whether you're newly subscribing or you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you hit the little bell, the notification button down below. That will of course alert you when I upload future videos. If you really like my uploads and you would like to support the channel, you can. Both Patreon and PayPal are linked down below. And as ever, a huge thank you to everybody who supports the channel using those two methods. It really is greatly appreciated. Thank you all very much indeed. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, you can. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are all linked down below. And if you'd like to get in touch but you don't really use social media, there is of course an email address down there as well. That's everything for this video, so until next time, bye for now.